So, a couple of random thoughts on awareness raising, specifically like awareness raising campaigns. Totally just Whitney Store's opinion in case anybody was interested. Um, First of all, I love recognition days, months. Um, I've mentioned that a lot, I think, on here. I like them because I think that they're great opportunities to have a reason to talk about issues. Um, it gives you an excuse like, hey, did you know that this month is so and so whatever awareness month, right? It's just kind of an opening. And I think that that's great, especially coming from like a nonprofit perspective. It gives you a reason to tell stories, and storytelling generates engagement and fundraising and just imagine this awareness, right? Um, so I do love recognition days slash months. Um, I also love awareness raising as a general concept. Um, in order for people to care about the issue, they have to know about the issue, right? And so there's a really strong, important aspect of education that I think is involved in everything. You can't change policy. You can't change the status quo without people understanding that there's a problem that exists. And they can't understand that there's a problem that exists without you telling them that there is, or pointing it out, or telling a story, or doing whatever needs to be done to draw attention to the issue. Um, and so awareness raising as an educational aspect in order to bring about change, whatever that change might look like, is really important and necessary. It's a means to an ends, but I think that's the point that is really important for me, is that awareness raising is a means to an ends. It's not an end in itself. You don't raise awareness just, I mean, for what, right? Like, awareness raising should always have a purpose. It should always have an action or an ask. So, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Let's talk about the statistics of breast cancer diagnosis, or whatever, right? But then at the end, are you asking for donations? Are you encouraging people to do self tests? Um, what's the outcome? It's like, because the thing is if you do this education portion of things, right, and it's like, wow, that's really interesting, and then you just stop, people are like, okay, I guess it's just interesting. It's a cliffhanger. They want, I mean, if you're raising awareness effectively, if you're telling a story effectively, people want to know what to do. Otherwise, it's just useless information. If you don't tell them what to do next, if you don't provide avenues for what the next steps are, how they can put that newfound education into effect, then it's just useless information. And so when October, for example, it's Spina Bifida Awareness Month. And I think that's great. There's lots of things you can talk about with Spina Bifida Awareness Month. But here's the difference. So you have one post, right? And it's spina bifida is this type of medical condition. It's diagnosed this way. These are the typical, expected impacts and outcomes. And then it stops. And people are left going, oh, well, at least, now I know more. Now I know when I hear the word, I'll know what it is. But like, okay. Versus a post that is like, this is what spina bifida is. This is the diagnosis and treatment and expected outcomes, etc. Here's some organizations that are working on research in order to address some of the common issues to improve treatment options. You should donate. Or here are existing barriers to accessibility that commonly affects the spina bifida community. I already told you why you should care. I already educated you on the issue. Now here's some more policy actions that you can take. Things like that, that it's like you educate. The education is the act of the awareness raising, right? But then what? You have to take that step forward. You have to continue on to follow through with what the whole point of awareness raising is. And so I guess I bring it up because Spina Bifida Awareness Month in October, and I always see these great posts. People post really good stuff. A lot of families post really good stuff, and I am so guilty of doing this too, in a lot of cases. But I think it's important that like those posts would be so much stronger if they would just, if it was just like one more step, like, okay, you told this story of how your child, had all of these medical interventions and challenges and all of this great stuff, right? Scary stuff and then great stuff, and they're doing awesome. Whatever. They tell their story, and their story is impactful, and their story is awesome, and then it just ends. Like, I think that's the important part, is that at the end, it's like, well, what do you want us to do? Tell us what you want to do. Do you want us to donate money to the National Spina Bifida Association? Do you want us to call our legislators about the specific issue that impacts the Spina Bifida community? Do you want us to get involved in a specific organization? Do you want us to volunteer at a specific event that's happening this month during Spina Bifida Awareness Month? Like, what is the continuation of that amazing story you just told? So yeah, just Tuesday afternoon, Thoughts by Whitney.